County, where Water Service Providers Association has called for good governance of water and sanitation in the country and more involvement of the youth in the sector, saying it will facilitate access to clean and sustainable water services. Now, reporter Yusuf is on the ground. Yusuf, kindly bring us to speed.
A very good afternoon to you, Wambiru, from the Lake Naivasha Resort. We are at the pre-conference of the Water Service Providers Association Youth and Women Water and Sanitation Conference 2021. Now, this conference was arranged basically to promote the inclusion of women and youth in water and sanitation project. And joining me right now to shed more light into the importance of this is the WASPA CEO, Anthony Wambugu. Good afternoon, sir. Many thanks for joining us. Now, walk me through the importance. How important is it to include women and youth in such projects?
Thank you very much. It's Ambugo. I think this is the pre-conference, and the conference is coming on 30th of June 2021 to 2nd July. And it is done in partnership. You can see I'm flanked by our chairman, WASPA, Chair Wiwas, and also the representative of young water professionals in this country. We have realized when we were looking at the rationale of developing this and coming up with this conference is that already nationally we have a backing under the Constitution 2010, Article 43, which talks about ensuring that every citizen in this country has a right of access to clean and safe water in adequate quantities and reasonable standards of sanitation. This is amplified at the international level under SDG 6, which talks of safely managed water and safely managed sanitation. But if we look at the coverage, it's still low for water and sanitation at 59 and 29 respectively. So, and a lot of empirical evidence shows that women and youth have been disenfranchised by not being included in matters of water and sanitation governance. And it is said if you go to households where the water source is outside the home, 80% of those who are involved in terms of collecting that water and bringing it into the home are women, and if they are youth specifically, is the girl child. So you realize that this one provides a disproportionate burden because they become part of the infrastructure. A lot of time is delayed in getting this water. And you know about the menstrual health. If a girl child doesn't have access, then you realize that there will be missed school opportunities. And all these contribute to high disease burden. We are talking about communicable diseases, which is a very big burden. When we adopted Session Paper 1, I think of 1964, one of the enemies we were supposed to fight was disease. But you realize that the country is still ravaged by the communicable diseases at 75%. And evidence shows that if you invest more in terms of water and sanitation, then you are able to manage the disease burden. So here, fundamentally, what we have realized is that women and youth have been excluded in matters of water and sanitation governance. And there is evidence that if we include them, then we will be able to accelerate progress towards achievement of SDG 6. And that is why it is fundamentally important. And you find that these are the people who interface and interact most of the time with water.
Maybe in your capacity as WASPA, maybe to encourage them, maybe what have you done to encourage the youth to take up such opportunities?
So what we are doing here is that we have discovered that most of us have been able to accumulate knowledge in the water sector. But as we exit the system, it is important to prepare the next set of generations in terms of leaders of water and sanitation. And that is where the issue of mentoring comes in, succession planning. How do we ensure that there is knowledge transfer to the next set of leaders so that they don't come in and fumble, so that whatever we have achieved, because they are the IT generation, they can complement with that to make water services better in this country, because that is the biggest challenge that we are being confronted. And now what we are looking at, this conference provides an opportunity where it will be a platform that the youth will come together and exchange notes in terms of are there good practices within our jurisdiction, and if not, other jurisdictions, because you look today in the pre-conference, we have had even international participation, and that is the overarching theme of the conference. And that is why we want to tap into it and also see the challenges. How do we manage? Then from there, we leverage in terms of coming up with strategies that will accelerate progress towards realization of the human right to water.
All right. Thank you very much, Bona CEO. Jackie, that is all we have for you right now. We'll have a comprehensive story for this in our subsequent bulletins, but until then, back to you in studio.
Well, that was our reporter Yusuf Faro, where Water Service Providers Association is calling for good governance of water and sanitation in the country. Now, moving on, residents are living